Weave it together.
Hola David, ¿qué tal?
Hola, hola, ¿qué tal, Daniel? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, bien, un poco cansado, pero ahora está llegando el fin del día y el descanso.
Muy bien, genial.
Pero antes, una sesión que parece muy interesante. ¿Está todo listo? ¿Está todo bien?
Sí, sí, en principio sí. Mira, ya aparecen por aquí dos de los speakers. Que les dije que conectase un poquito antes. Y en principio sí, he estado comprobando la plataforma. En fin, creo que sí, que más o menos todo está en orden.
Perfecto. Perfecto, me alegro. Yo acabo de tener una interacción interesante al recibir un correo que alguien estaba entrando en el Zoom de los eventos de España y Portugal. Y yo, bueno, quizás alguien está pensando que ahora es el evento, voy a conectarme y decírselo. Y era un hombre que es el abuelo de uno de los palestrantes de otra sesión que estaba buscando esta sesión. No sé cómo encontré este Zoom. Y entonces se lo mandó al buen Zoom. Y era bastante adorable, pero un poco extraño e inesperado sobre todo.
Bueno, pues nada, vamos a ver si seguimos aquí, crear como una buena energía colectiva y voy a ir admitiendo a todos para ir contando y gracias por tu presencia y tu energía.
Claro, si necesitas cualquier cosa, avisa.
Venga, perfecto. Hello, Johan.
Yes, hello, David. How are you?
All good, and you?
Yeah, also good. Good. I was just in another event of yours. So yeah, very interesting events for sure.
Yeah, more than 250 events with more than 600 speakers. Wow.
Yeah, how do we keep up with all of that?
Too many, too many.
That's the problem, huh?
And all amazing, actually. So much energy we are bringing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The trick is making it continuous, right? Not just one time. And I think that's where the issue is with Zoom, that you haven't really got the opportunity of connecting ongoingly afterwards. It's just in the moment. But yeah, we'll see. I hope to make this happen for everybody here. So yeah. How are you, Daniel? We haven't met before?
No, I don't think so. I'm very well, thank you.
All right, excellent. Thank you for the preparing emails and everything. I guess I recognize your name at least, yeah?
Probably received a million emails from me. But I'm glad you get them. I'm glad you read them, or at least that you see them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's also part of the problem, I think, that we all receive so many different emails from so many places. So we're all overwhelmed, I think. But yeah, c'est la vie.
Okay, here is also Christopher. Hi, Christopher, how are you?
Hello, everybody. How are you guys?
Hello.
Good to see you. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
All
nice.
good, all good.
You have nice backgrounds there, David and Daniel.
Thank you, thank you. We can share them with you if you like. If you want.
Yeah, if you want, we are happy to. I'm happy to use it.
We are all catalyst here in the end.
Super. Okay, you also, Johan, you're also catalyst.
Yes, I'm in there, but I'm also, of course, like most of us, running other things on the side also, right? So I'm the founder of something called Entnest, and you'll get to know a little bit more about that too. Just like I look forward to hearing more about Learnlife. Yeah.
Perfect. And where are you, Johan? Where are you based?
I'm based in Geneva, Switzerland, but I'm from Sweden originally.
Yeah, I hear the Nordic accent there. Okay.
Yeah.
Where in Sweden?
Well, I was born in Lund in the southern part, but I grew up in Göteborg on the west coast. I don't know how well you know Sweden.
Yeah, know it quite well, actually.
Okay, great. How come?
Well, I had a lot of friends, or I have a lot of friends from university, so I spent a lot of like midsummer, parties over in your beautiful country, and and then went with my family many times, and so from Malmö over Lund to up always to Norway, Göteborg, and so on, and then. Stockholm, the archipelago, and so on. Very nice.
Wow, you know it very well then. Yeah. And where are you based then?
I'm in Barcelona.
Okay.
But I'm originally from Hamburg.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. I thought I heard also the German part there. So
yeah. Trying to avoid that, but still comes through sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think it's good we can hear where we're from, right? I don't mind that at all.
Super.
Okay,
David, you're Spanish, right?
Yes, I'm originally from Madrid, currently living in London. And here we also have Michael. Michael, hi, how are you doing? You're on mute.
Hello, good to see you all.
That sounds like a Swedish to me.
Hour together.
That sounds like a Swede to me.
That's a Swede to you. I am a Swede.
Så då kan vi nästan prata svenska då.
Almost.
Jag pratar lite svenska.
Oh, wow, even that. That's impressive.
Kan jag få en öl, no?
Eller två.
That's the most important thing.
And älskling, no? Midsummer is like älskling, no?
Absolutely.
We're talking about beer and parties, David, if you wanted to know.
Yeah.
No, sure. We need to put this worldly thing because don't get lost in translation.
So are you also from Sweden, Daniel?
No, I'm British originally, but I'm currently living in Iceland.
Oh, really? Okay.
I see. Yeah, and then my mother and sister both lived in Denmark for a while, so I know a few words from various Nordic languages. I don't speak any of them. But when he was bringing up Öl, I know what Öl is.
That's oil in German, right?
Can I ask a practical question, David? I sent you a presentation quite late. Did you get it?
Yes, yes, I have it. So we can, I got it here, but I can also allow you to share in case you want to do it yourself, but I got it here, you know.
It either works for me.
But it's good, you know, right now, yeah, the idea for, you know, connecting a little bit earlier, it was just to make the, you know, last arrangements, yeah. But yeah, part of this session is to get to know each other. So hopefully, I didn't want to take too much time from all of you, but hopefully, you know, if the things are going well, we can reconnect at some point and get to know each other a little bit better, because I think it's all about people, as we always say.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have my presentation also. And so will you then share from your side, David? So we don't need to switch the screens, or what's the preference? Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm even fine if you want to share the PDF file with the audience. I don't know if that's convenient or how you want to do that normally, but yeah, if you want to do it, that's fine.
Yeah, basically, just a quick look. The idea is just, you know, starting the first 2 or 3 minutes is for people to join. So yeah. We'll put some sort of music that actually Daniel was suggesting, which is just, you know, a good landing way, you know, to get started. And then I'll make the introduction somehow in terms of what is this session about. Actually introducing a couple of quick videos. One is for Catalyst, and another one is about conscious collaborative co-learning idea in sound images, very short. And then the idea is to introduce each of you, okay? I got a video of your initiatives, short videos in the IDGs. I got finished 4 or 5 minutes. In Learnlife also 3 minutes, I think. And I got yours as well, Johan, which is really short. It's 30 seconds or a minute or so.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
And also the presentations, which, you know, you already shared with me. So the idea is that is just make this intro very visual, and then you can talk a little bit about your initiatives. After that, it's just an open dialogue in which we can talk about what is the idea of this session, isn't it? It's about how we can create conscious collaborations and co-learning spaces. And I make a couple of questions as an icebreaking for each of you to answer. And then if we got time, you know, because, you know, 1 hour is going to fly so fast. I also prepare a poll and breakout rooms in case, you know, we still got time for people to join IDGs, Learnlife or Entnest. If it's not, well, then we just, you know, wrap it up with with a sort of video as well. So that is the idea in the end. I don't know if you've got any question.
How many people have
like
signed
you have
up?
material for a whole evening.
Yes. How many people have signed up?
I don't know. Last time we checked, it was like around 20 people. Okay. But some sessions they got 20, some sessions they got 10, some sessions they got 50. I don't know. It really depends. Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be a surprise.
But did I understand it correct? When we discussed, you said that we should do like a 10-minute introduction. Is that replaced by the video now, or?
Well, the idea is a combination. So my idea was to, you know, for example, in your case, putting the video as an intro to you, you know, and talking a little bit about the IDGs on the presentation you sent to me. So that is the idea. Are you comfortable to have that video first and then you talk a little bit, or if you don't want your video, any of you, it's okay. If you just want to show or to talk a little bit about your initiatives, it's also okay. I was just trying to combine a little bit of audio visual with, you know, talking and explanation.
Yeah, it's just long, 5 minutes. Then I only have 5 minutes left.
Yeah, so my video is 30 seconds, but I can easily speak for 10 minutes if you want me afterwards, but I can make it shorter, of course, also. So, yeah.
Well, I said up to 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be 10 minutes or 4
exactly.
or 5. I mean, it's really up to you. Just to, it's setting out the table for the dialogue in terms of, okay, this is what we're doing. And then maybe people are more interested in different ways or approaches to you know, collaboration and co-learning. So that is more also the idea, you know, to try to and bring it up to the collective energy in the rooms.
I think in my case, skip the video because I think it's so long, and I have, you know, this more interesting to dig a bit deeper, I think.
So you want the video or not?
No.
Okay. All right. So we'll go to the presentation in your case. Fine. All right. So we are getting into the time. So we're gonna start to put this.
And it's being recorded and shared afterwards, or what's the
Yes.
intent on that? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Weave it together, coming up short and giving up never. Weave it together, come along, come along, come along, come along.
Danny, can you see the people? No, who is in the waiting room? Because when I share my screen,
no, because I'm not. If you make me co-host, I can do that. We'll go up to the waiting room.
A stitch in time is gonna save nine. A stitch in time is gonna save nine. And I wanna be a catalyst for change. Trying something different. I wanna change the rules of the game. 'Cause even the smallest bird can fly up to the top of the tree. And I wanna be a catalyst and find out what could be. Dream, dream, dreaming together. Some say hope is a thing with feathers. We're gonna dream, dream, dream together. It sings a song, never stops at all. It sings a song, never stops at all. And I wanna be a catalyst for change. Trying something different. I
Your own
wanna change
song.
the rules of the game. 'Cause even the smallest bird can fly up to the top of the tree. And I wanna be a catalyst and find out what could be. Walk, walk, walk
Well, I think, I'm not sure about, I reckon people might be getting in as we start, and it's getting now 5 minutes. So anyway, this is being recording, so we can start with the session, and then people will get in as they are just joining. Okay, so thank you so much. Welcome to the e-CO3 Conscious Collaborative COLearning ecosystem session. What we have here is a very interesting panel with Michael Winstead representing the IDGs in the development goals. We got Christopher Pomrenning, founder and CEO of Learnlife, and Johan Franzen, founder and CEO of Entnest. So the idea for today, as you see, is we are going to start with a small video of Catalyst 2030. Then trying to set up the table for this topic on the conscious collaborative COLearning. Then we'll be introducing the panelists, their initiatives, and talk a little bit about what they're doing right now. And we want to open a dialogue around this new approach of conscious collaborative COLearning. So if we got time enough, then we can have question and answers and even breakout rooms in case that, as I said, it's time enough. So let's just start with this video. Which is not that one, is
Catalyst 2030 is a movement of social entrepreneurs and innovators embracing collective action to achieve the SDGs by the deadline of 2030. Our 1,500 members are active in 197 countries. By emphasizing collaborations, Catalyst 2030 is leveraging the power of the collective to accelerate real change in the lives of billions of people around the globe. What do our members say about Catalyst?
Catalyst 2030 is an invaluable global community of impact entrepreneurs.
Our relationship with Catalyst 2030 has really taught us the power of co-creation.
Join Catalyst 2030 and network, bond, and collaborate with our family members.
And I like the spirit of bringing change makers together to share and learn from each other.
Catalyst really understands the transformative nature of collaboration.
It's also a platform that can give us new tools and resources.
Catalyst 2030 has put my work on steroids.
But most importantly, to come up with solutions that are practical, ways where we can really make things happen, because social entrepreneurs are doers.
Are you a catalyst? Join us to achieve the SDGs.
Well, as you can see here, we got and the new people are coming. So we are just starting with the session. We are going to talk about the conscious collaborative COLearning ecosystems and initiatives. And I thought that in order to introduce that is more to do with, as you know, one of the core values within Catalyst is people and nature at the center. How can we really create true collaborations, deep conversations? I think it's to do with this idea of raising awareness and consciousness, but also to do with alignment. So I thought this could be a good image to show that. Well, as you can see, alignment, synchronization. We are all actually willing to collaborate, in a deeper level, but there is always something missing somehow. It does have to do with, alignment, becoming more aligned or synchronized. You saw this video, we are all in our part of the journey with different, ways of thinking and everything. However, somehow there is a way to align with each other, So I reckon with this session today, we could actually learn more from people who are actually practicing on their initiatives on a daily basis. So hopefully we can actually, at the end of this session, get aligned or synchronized. So let's go with the panelists. We got Michael Wested, which is a social entrepreneur with a devotion to build a resilient world where both humanity and life on the planet thrive, working towards this goal as COO for the Inner Development Goals, a blueprint of the capabilities, qualities, and skills that are needed to achieve the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So I'm gonna leave Michael to talk about this. Michael, please, if you want to, let me see how we can, okay.
Should I start?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay. Well, wonderful to see you all. It's evening where I am, but good evening, good day, good morning to wherever you are. The Inner Development Goals really started as a reaction to the Sustainable Development Goals. I think when we had the Sustainable Development Goals, when they came in 2015, I was quite hopeful for the world. We had the Paris Agreement coming the same year. And for the first time in my lifetime, the global emissions, CO2 emissions, were going down. So I felt that if we just work hard enough, we can do this. We can create a sustainable world. But already the next year, I saw signs that that is not happening. The emissions were going up, Brexit happened, Trump was elected. It felt like the system is cracking. And I think that was really the starting point for the Inner Development Goals. A few years down the line, we felt we are not on path on making the change we want to make. So we figured what is missing. We have the resources we need globally. We have the technology we need. But we're lacking the motivation often to do the work we need to do and take the decisions we need to take. And we actually lack the skills to take those decisions. So this was the starting point of the IDG. We asked the question, what are the skills and capabilities we need to develop to reach the Sustainable Development Goals, individually and collectively? And we figured, can we do the same journey as the Sustainable Development Goals have done, to take something very, very complex and make it understandable and graspable? So it was really a project or initiative to combine science and communication. So we started with a process with over 1,000 people, researchers from Göteborg University, Karolinska Institute, Stockholm School of Economics, and then later also Harvard University, where they came together and see what are the skills we need to develop. And we only have skills that we can actually develop. And then we had HR experts, and we also had the general public. All in all, it was over 1,000 people that came together to see what are the skills we need to develop. And then when they were done and they had something very complex and very hard to penetrate, we had the communication experts that came in, and one of our founding partners is the New Division, the same communication agency that is the communication for the SDGs, you know, those 17 icons. So they're very good, obviously, at that language, and also very good at making something very complex graspable. So they came in and said, okay, how can we make this complex knowledge graspable and understandable? And it came down to the framework, and I thought I'll share the framework so you get an I need to be I am disabled to share screen. I need to be a co-host or something like that. Still not. Okay, you have my presentation, David. Maybe you can share it. I see it's on your bottom left corner there, the Catalyst Week.
Yes, can you see the presentation right now? Oh, okay, I thought it was there already, sorry.
I see.
Sorry about that, I have to set again, okay. Okay, because it was in a different page, right. Sorry about that. I thought you were seeing the same screen that I was saying. Sorry about that. Okay, so
no worries at all. So the inner development goals we have developed in 3 stages. The first stage has been to develop this framework to find out what are the skills we need to develop. Then the second stage that we are in now is to say, okay, when we know the skills, can we then know how we develop these skills? What are the methods that are scientifically proven that can foster these skills? And the third step that we are going to be in is to see how can we take this global. We know that this is a Swedish initiative, Scandinavian initiative. We have a bias towards the West. So how can we take this global? How can we learn from the rest of the world? Oh, you can go back. And how can we so incorporate the knowledge, make it a truly global framework like the SDGs, and also prove the link between the SDGs and the IDGs. So we prove that if we develop the IDGs, we will work more effectively towards the SDGs. And already Costa Rica has been the first country to adopt this. I will come more to how we are cooperating with other partners to spread this. But first, I'll just say a few words of the framework. So the communication expert said that, you know, they brought it down to these simple words, but they also added 5 dimensions, so it's more graspable. So the first dimension is being, the relationship to oneself, to have an inner compass, of course, integrity, authenticity, openness and a learning mindset, self-awareness. One of our academic partners, Robert Keegan, mentions that to be able to reflect on oneself is the most important skill of all to develop. They say that pain versus reflection equals growth. If I am frightened of something, it's very hard for me to grow. But if I can take one step back and see, okay, I am afraid. Why am I afraid? And reflect on that, then I can learn. And last but not least, their presence. Then thinking, cognitive skills, critical thinking, complexity awareness, perspective skills, sense making, and long-term orientation and visioning. And one of our global partners there, Otto Scharmer of MIT, he says that this is probably the most important skill to make progress towards the SDGs. We do make progress as a society towards the SDGs until there is a crisis, and then we go into crisis mode and we became short-sighted and have tunnel vision. Like now with Ukraine, we pour all the resources into Ukraine and we ignore all the other crises in the world. So soon other crises will pop up. But if we can have the inner development goals as a nexus and the SDGs as a goal and use the crisis to work towards the SDGs, then we can actually make progress. Then we have relating, of course, the caring about others and the world. There is the saying, you know, without passion, nothing happens, but without compassion, the wrong things happens. Appreciation is proven to be such an important one for well-being. Connectedness, to feel that we are connected, that air that I breathe out is the air that you breathe in, the water that I drink is the water that was in the ocean a month ago, so on. And humility. I'm really giving you a crash course here, you know, so I'm sorry if it's very fast. Collaborating, so this is about getting people on board, working with others. So here, communication skills, co-creation skills, which we're talking about today, of course. Inclusive mindset and intercultural competence. Trust, which proves to be the most important skill for effective teams. Mobilization skills to get people on board. If you have to take the difficult decisions to reach the SDGs, then you need to get people on board to do that. Courage, and that is, of course, linked to inner compass, to be able to stand up for what you believe, like the Swedish activist Greta Thunberg, who dared to go against the status quo. Creativity, to think outside the box. Optimism, and lastly, perseverance, to continue to go when it's tough. Okay, that's very, very quick, but it's just to give you time to engage more. So we can go to the next slide. So when we have this framework, we thought we are a small NGO. The only way we can create impact is by collaborating with others and to have this open source and invite others to come in. So we have our founding partners that I mentioned. Then our theory of change is that the only way we can get traction around this, get recognition for this in our scientific paradigm, is to have science backing this, and to get professors that do research on this, and ultimately get ministers in the government that says the responsibility, I will be responsible for adult development. So here are our academic partners: Stockholm University, Stockholm School of Economics, Karolinska Institute, Lund University, Harvard, and Erasmus University. And then we have lots of researchers that is in our academic advisory board. And then our other theory of change has been the ones that has resources to really spread these methods to a lot of people is corporations that can work or help their employees. So we are also financed and we work through our partner companies. So you probably recognize a few: Spotify, IKEA, Ericsson, Husqvarna maybe, and so on. And so this is our first two main partners, which is not in this slide. It's also our nodes, where we're now working towards countries, Costa Rica being the first, but we're talking to about 25 countries who are looking to implement this framework in their policies, like they've done with the SDGs. And probably most important for this community is then our bottom-up structure. So we have a hub structure where anybody can engage in this. And we have some loose frameworks. We have principles, we have a Q&A, we have a structure for inner development action days, where people come together locally to work on both themselves, their inner capacities, and the SDGs. And we have now, and they also have gatherings locally. So we have now 60 hubs around the world, and anybody can start a hub, and we have regular hubs meetings. So this is how we collaborate with others to really get this out, because I think that this is probably one of the best ways to accelerate the work towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, thank you for now.
Thank you so much, Michael. Actually, we are in the process. You know, we open a conversation in terms of collaborations because Catalyst 2030 supporting the SDGs, and we do believe in this idea as within, so without. So in a way that as you grow, the collective grow, and I think the IDGs is covering very well this part. And I love the idea of the theory of view plus the theory of change in the getting them together in the you change framework, you know. be the change you wish to see in the world. Let me, because I think I need to again share to avoid what happened earlier. Yeah, works. So now we have Christopher Pomeranian is the founder and responsible for empowerment of Learnlife. He's an entrepreneur and learning visionary on a journey in which he has evolved from an internet entrepreneur and venture capitalist into a high-impact entrepreneur on a mission to change education positively worldwide. Christopher, I hope I have the video. You want me to play the video?
Yeah, that would be great.
Good. Can you see?
Another creator, another person that is doing something different, but the fact that we could do something that correlated, and I showed my talents and he showed his, and we could create something together, and it wasn't like hard or boring, like it was actually fun, and I think that's important to like know how to work with other people, and especially with your friends.
The teachers or the learning guides are a lot more fun here. They are happy and like excited. If I would have to describe Learnlife with 3 words, it would be amazing, fun to learn, and not as strict as normal schools.
So me looking from where I was before to where I am now, it's a massive, like a dramatic change. I would say it's a learning base that people go to learn more skills for adulthood and the future instead of learning 100-year-old methods.
I think I've been growing the most in soft skills with people and collaborating with other people and being a better teammate. And just from the beginning until here, the whole time, I've been working on that a lot.
I really love to mix creativity and activism. So my idea with them was like also like creating meaningful experiences. So we start to work here, like with the cameras, with animation, with the stop motion, and it became more like, I don't know, like one of their favorite places.
It's really fun, and I understand that like you don't have to have the classic tests and stuff like that to really learn, and I feel like I learned a lot more here in these 3 months than I learned combined in all my other schools.
I would say Learnlife is community. It's openness, freedom in education, and it really is finding your life's purpose.
Wow, wow.
All right, David.
I have 3 kids, Christopher. I love this, and I love the idea of lifelong learning. So if you want to tell us a little bit more, please.
Super. How old are your kids, David?
So 8, 12, and 15.
Okay, super, beautiful. Okay, I think that brings us almost to the essence of everything, like how Learnlife started. So actually, my wife and I, we also have 3 kids. There are 10. So Luca, just next to me here.
Hello.
And Jona, who's 8, and Mila, who's 3 years old. And basically about 7 years ago, you know, I've been going through, let's say, a journey of entrepreneurship and investing in other entrepreneurial teams, helping people to make their dreams come true. We basically looked at our kids and thought, okay, what will be the world for them in the future, and what is the baseline for, I mean, today we speak about SDGs and everything else, and it always comes down, the bottom line to everything is learning. So we cannot change the world if we do not change how we learn, actually, and how we perceive ourselves and what we can do. And that brings us basically how we started this journey, and that is through collaborating. And I thought the best thing is to probably look for a team that already is changing positively the world of education. I found amazing projects around the world. We actually scanned the world for more than 100 of the most innovative schools. And we started to actually bring these best practices of the world together into one huge matrix. And then the next thing was actually that we, on a big school conference in Barcelona, there were more than 10,000 or 15,000 kids coming through 4 days to an event. And we created a 10 times 3 meter wall of where we invited every child that was coming by to design their dream school. So basically paint on a piece of paper on this big wall what should change. And I think more than 1,500 or 2,000 kids were putting their quotes, their ideas on this wall. And it was basically the starting point of putting the learner back into the center point, and collaborating together with the actual people that need the learning for the future to get started. And then I got inspired by a lot of videos and TED Talks that exist around the world, and probably most of you have seen. And I started to reach out to all these amazing authors and video creators and ask them, so now you have been working on learning innovation for the last 10, 15, 20 years, and you have been focusing on one certain topic. Have you ever come together with all these other people to actually come together as one group and really building the future of learning all together? And then the surprising answer was that everybody was working in their kind of silo, but they never really come together. So 2017, we decided to actually bring everybody to Barcelona for 3 days. And by that time, it was 40 learning innovators and thought leaders from around the world. And we basically said, we will be building. The only thing that I really know as an entrepreneur is like action. I think Michael said, all these other things. I know a little bit about myself, and yes, I do critical thinking and so on, but the one thing I really know is to act. So I said, we are going to build a learning hub. So we don't call it school anymore. We don't call it university. We are saying the future is a learning hub where actually all generations come together wherever in the world, and they actually explore and collaborate around their co-learning. And we will be doing this as a wide space approach. So 2018 will start, and 2017 we bring the world together to actually co-create a completely new paradigm for learning. So people came together, and we basically built a completely new learning paradigm. Just forwarding now, I think you're just showing the Learning Alliance. So our Learnlife-Alliance has by now, I think, close to 1,000 learning innovators from around the world. From 75 countries that are engaged in all kinds of different learning approaches and innovations. And they are collaborating, and they are invited to always push new learning to the next level. So it's not like that there's a Christopher or David or Johan or Michael or whoever that is the one Montessori or the one Rudolf Steiner or the one whoever in the world that is the thought leader of the future of learning, but it's rather a growing learning movement of innovation that is collaborating and building this new paradigm together, so that it never stops again. We never stop learning innovation again in the world. And the beauty is that in 2018 we started the first Learn Hub, again with the learners in the center point and the learning community. So parents, the external ecosystem, everybody was invited to then explore which parts of a new learning paradigm are actually working, which are not working, and which would need reiterations. And since about 5 years, we have now built a completely new learning paradigm, which we call personal learning. So just to give you a very quick summary, so we are coming from a standardized education system. So everyone that has children right now and that goes to normal school, you will be in the standardized, classical, industrial-based education system. The next shift that most ed tech companies talk about in the world since about 8 to 10 years backwards is called personalized learning. So that's shift one. The next shift, because personalized learning is still done with an instructor, with a teacher, but it's personalized, so at least we recognize that every person is an individual. We are not lemmings anymore. That's great. The next step is that we are actually going to co-created learning paradigm. So the learning guide shifts from a teacher to a learning guide and becomes a guiding partner of the learner to co-create the learning journey. And the last shift, that's what the new paradigm is all about, is personal, self-determined, self-directed learning. And that's basically happening since 5 years in our hubs in Barcelona. And they are built as lighthouses to empower any learning ecosystem around the world that wants to do a drastic transformation approach towards learning. So people from around the world come to Barcelona to get inspired. And actually by now, taking the collaboration to the furthest level, we have started this year to empower partners around the world to build learning hubs for different cities, regions, and countries. So I think this year we will be launching together with partners between 8 and 10 hubs in different countries. We have about 200 requests from different groups and countries and cities to build hubs in the next years. And so our idea is that over the next 10 years, we will be reaching every country in the world, every major city, establishing a lighthouse learning hub to completely transform and inspire societies towards the new possibilities of learning. And that's how entire education systems will then have no other chance to see, I can see the future of learning because it sits in the middle of my city. So every school, every university, every learning environment has only one way forward to envision what's possible and basically take a big step forward into the future. And that's our strategy. That's how we are working. And it's actually amazing to see that we are not only speaking to private schools, but we are speaking now to public school groups, and we are speaking actually to entire governments and countries by this time to actually change the education systems. So we are still in the early stages, but I think the strategy is very clear, and everybody understands, the idea of a new paradigm and establishing lighthouses as the vision for future of learning. And I think I leave it there, and I'm much more interested in questions and discussing later how we can all build this together.
Thanks so much. You convinced me, so I'm going to sign them up. Well, and actually, what you just said, lifelong learning, we are all learners, learner at the center, your own terminology, hubs, guides. That is actually, and for people to know in this session, we are also collaborating within the education IB group together with Learnlife, because we want to bring all this energy, and there is a lot of synergy, as we saw in the beginning. Let's try to synchronize what we are doing and integrate all this energy, because it's amazing. Thank you so much, Christopher. So let's go now with Entnest, which is Johan Franzen. Is an independent leader and trusted business partner, both internationally and externally, with experience in interacting on all company levels, across functions and in multicultural environments, creating great connections for mutual value. With more than 20 years in senior executive positions in a leading international FMCG company, more than 6 years as a founder of Entnest, with local and global entrepreneurial network. So Johanna is also a member of Catalyst, and he's a very good example of a collaborative platform. So let's have a look to the video, and then he will give us a better explanation about the platform. Oopsie. It's the other way around. Yeah.
that was very quick. 30 seconds goes very quick, huh? But I would like to say that I really like everything that I've heard here, from the introduction to both what Michael and Christopher have been talking about. I think it's the change that we need to see, and that's what this whole week is about. So very, very good. Entnest, maybe you can zoom in a little bit. Yes, that's excellent. So Entnest is actually a tech infrastructure. We felt that there's a need for change also in the way of social media and the digital toxicity that is out there. So we founded in 2015 the company Entnest, where Ent is short for entrepreneurs, and Nest is like the home of entrepreneurs. And you see the tree. I think it's important to have strong roots, of course. And yeah, go to the first one, or the second, the one at the top. Yeah, next one down. So with the story. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so Entnest, it's an invite-only platform, and it's creating a network of trusted networks. And that's what we believe is needed today. I think we're all seeing many of the big organizations very much being focused on delivering shareholder return, but very often at the expense of society, democracy, the sharing economy, and so on. This is a lot of text, so I'm not going to go through all of that, but I can share this document even with you afterwards here. We have 7,500 members at this point in time, the whole entrepreneurship ecosystem around from more than 65 countries. And a key element also for us is that we are actually giving back at least 51% of the profits. And I don't see many of the big tech giants that we're all very familiar with today ever going to be really delivering benefits and so on to society and yeah, the democracy side and the sharing economy and so on. So we've spent 5 years now building the infrastructure, and now we're about to reach out to further growth partners to extend and expand this. And there's a lot of individually very good projects out there in the world today, but very often they work on the same problem in parallel and in their silos, and it's not really creating the synergies. 1 + 1 is currently not more than 2, right? It's probably 1.5. We need to get to 1 + 1 is 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever the number is. We need to combine in a different way and make it much more sharing. So if we go down one slide, you will see then that we need really something a lot more positive in the digital world, and we need an alternative to many of these organizations that we're all used to. Here we are speaking through Zoom, for instance, but Entnest includes an opportunity with video capability. We have elements from LinkedIn, from WhatsApp, from Teams, from Slack, from email, Meetup, Eventbrite, Upwork, and so on. The list goes on quite a long way. And we think that this is what is needed, because part of what is making us overwhelmed and less productive and so on here is the bombardment of everything out there. Everybody is basically trying to find the biggest megaphone and shout out what they offer, and that creates monologues. What we need now is create the trusted connections between people, and rather talk about what does Michael need, what does Christopher need, what does David need, in order for us to create the dialogues, right? So dialogue is really what is needed. And if you go down one more, so building on the previous, you saw then the different organizations and so on that we think that we can do something much better than, and then combining elements for chatting, for building communities, for building groups and events and video conferencing, knowledge, marketplace, the whole shebang, right? But we need to start on a different base, and that base we think is trust. So Entnest is based on invitation. As we said, you can only get into Entnest if you have an invitation. And I appreciate many of the people in here are already inside of Entnest, of course, but at the end, I can also share an invitation from me so that you have a chance of testing it out. And once you're on the inside, you will see that there are great possibilities of connecting better and more productively and creating much more synergies together. And again, coming back to the sharing attitude, this is what the world is about, I think, now. So we need to move forward much more in terms of that sharing. Okay, and one more down. In order for this platform, this toolbox to really work, I think it's very important that we combine the whole ecosystem. So players from all over the ecosystem, so from startups and scale-ups, regional development, accelerators, incubators, co-working spaces, and so on. You can read the list. And these are the 12 areas that we basically have outlined. But they can be divided into different ways and so on. But the core is making sure that we have parts of this ecosystem combined in one place and being able then to deliver a lot more of these synergies together simply by connecting the right people and avoiding the spammers, scammers, and hackers and so on. So the trust element again is quite a core element here. If you scroll down one more, I've just taken one example. So for one of those 12 categories, the event and communities. So like, for instance, Catalyst, it's a fantastic organization with excellent people, but there are also a number of other organizations out there. And within Catalyst, you have connected all the Catalyst people, but as I said, it's a little bit hard then to make the connections to others, other organizations and so on. And that's what I think needs to happen a little bit more of, and what the possibility is within Entnest. So within Entnest, of course, there can be the Catalyst 2030 silo, if you will, then your element. But at the same time, the people and the organizations can see each other and very easily connect across these different silos to make even more benefits together. So yeah, I don't think that we need to look at more details there, but again, I will share this presentation afterwards. Okay, if you scroll down a little bit further, we are Geneva based, so in neutral Switzerland. And I think that's also sort of a pitch element there. I think the majority of today's big organizations in the tech area is either from the US or from China. And I think we need to have something coming from somewhere else, and Europe or Africa or India or Brazil or Mexico or wherever. I think it would be very good for us. We risk almost becoming enslaved to these big tech giants of today, who's risking creating big monopolies and not really sharing the benefits that they're creating for everybody. So this is the target list for Switzerland, but we're working on similar lists for a lot of different countries. And we are happy to connect with all of you and to make this happen in all the different countries. We're starting in Switzerland. We're moving forward with the Netherlands, the Nordics, Germany, Spain, the UK, France, and so on. But we're also getting pretty impressive numbers all over Africa, for instance. Being in Geneva, we're close to the United Nations and so on here. So that is a great opportunity for connecting also with the African continent, for instance. Okay, and the last slide, I think, is basically just a picture of me in principle, and that's not fun to look at, but there you go. There is a link in there, but I think I will rather post a link in the chat here to make it a little bit simpler to join. And I'm happy to take any questions and comments, just like what Christopher and Michael, I think, is also interested in. And let's connect, let's create more synergies together. That's the name of the game from now on, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Johan. Thank you so much. And yes, it's about, I love the tree, it's like the tree of life with all the branches getting together. And yes, I think, collaborative platforms and integration is part of the journey. There is a database we got about the different collaborative platforms and initiatives out there, and there are more than 400. So it'll be great if we can really integrate somehow all of this in something that is workable, let's say. So thank you so much for the presentation. So, okay, so we got 10 minutes, and I wouldn't like to leave all this amazing panel and actually energy that is here without just asking to the speakers this question. We're talking about conscious collaborative COLearning. What is the main challenges, to really engage in a proper conscious collaboration and COLearning, and what is your approach? Let's start, Michael. Can you tell us a little bit, just in 2 or 3 minutes, what you see about the challenges that your approach for true collaborations?
So our chairperson, Simon Anholt, he started something called the Good Country Index, and there was a lot of excitement about that, and people wanted to start Good Country Index hubs around the world. And he found that he spent half his time just visiting these hubs, and whenever he would come to an hub, he would meet disappointing faces because he didn't spend enough time with them and giving them enough attention. So I think the challenge that we have learned from that, so we have quite consciously engaged in structures, how people can collaborate in the scientific advisory board, in the corporate partnership network, and we have events. And then we are now starting with hubs. So we have postponed that a bit, but just to find the structures for that and not to be swallowed by it, but have enough structures for people to take initiative, do their own thing. I mean, everything is from the Inner Development Goals is open source. And we see lots of initiatives, people wanting to create inner development games or gatherings or so I think the challenge we are facing now is how do we create that minimal viable structure for some principles for how you can use the tools and for us not to be the bottleneck, because obviously we want this to be available for everyone and not having to go through us. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think it's IDGs is something that it was very much needed. Hopefully we can integrate all of this energy together somehow, and make it bigger. So it's good to have this in place and many more ideas on that side. So Christopher, in your case, you said the learners at the center, and we are all learners, isn't it? So what are the main challenges and your approach to really get these true collaborations and COLearning in place?
Well, I think it's very simple. It comes down to 2 things, and one thing is values. So finding the people with similar or the same values, and then mindset. In the end, I think the most interesting part is to what we are trying to achieve. I think all of us in different aspects, some are more vertical approaches, some are more transversal approaches, is that we always are challenged and get stuck with some people that have a closed minded mindset. And we are, I can say for myself as a parent, I would say I've been growing up in a very, standardized, structured system, and now trying to understand, how the new generations or all new learners that really embrace lifelong learning, what capacities they have and how they will be collaborating and learning, sometimes escapes, also even my mindset, because it was programmed like that. And so unlearning that and relearning, let's say, for the future, I think is one of the biggest challenges and one biggest opportunities for collaboration.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope to see many more Learnlife hubs very soon all over. Hopefully we could also collaborate on that side. I think it's now we are getting on it, and it's a work in progress, but it's a good energy also coming in that side. What about you, Johan? So you've been with Entnest and this idea of there are so many platforms out there. What are the main challenges, to really get this integration in place?
That's a great question, and I think it is related to exactly what you say. There are so many out there, and a lot of people feel not another platform, right? So that is one element there. We are all a little bit overwhelmed by everything. We have friend requests from LinkedIn or emails or Zoom meetings and trying to follow up and so on there. But I think it's taking a step back and understanding and realizing that we need change, and we can actually do it if we really want to move forward with that. But the first hurdle is simply breaking through to the right people. And that's what it comes down to. Nobody is an expert on everything, and nobody has time to do everything by themselves. So you absolutely, all of you, all of us, everybody around there, the world, we need to connect with the right people and work together to deliver that, because otherwise it won't work. We will not have enough time or the expertise to do all the different things. So building that trust is a core element, breaking through and showing that we are different, and that's what we are, different, but some similarities, and that will deliver a lot of value to everybody here.
Okay, wow, yes, good. I mean, trust, lifelong learners, be the change. I love it. I think hopefully today with this session, we could learn a little bit more about this conscious collaborative co-learning. And I really thank you, all of you, and especially the panelists today. Is a very high top level of energy and content in the session. And I wanted just to close this session with a small video talking about everything that we just said. Hopefully you will love it. And then we can keep this conversation alive and the ball rolling. That is the idea, this is just one step into this synchronization, as we said in the beginning. So I hope you enjoy this.
So many people expect change in others, expect change in the world, but are never willing to change themselves first. If you want to see change in others, you must first be the change you wish to see. If I want others to be better, I must be better. If I want my loved ones to change, I must be that change. If I want my kids to become a certain way, I must live that way. I must be that example. Not tell them how to be, but be that person. If I want them to be kind to others, I must be kind to others. If I want them to live fully as themselves and not wear any mask to fit in with others, I must be that person, free from fear of judgment and live as I wish to live. If I want them to be giving, I must be giving. Giving of my time, giving of my love, my spirit, my presence. If I want them to be healthy, I must live healthy in every area. If I expect others to be grateful, I must be grateful first. I must show my gratitude. If I want others to live the life they want to live, I must set that example by loving the life that I live. If I want other people to make happiness and love a priority in their lives, I must make happiness and love a priority in my own life. If I expect others to be kind, I must be kind. I must be compassionate. If I expect others to listen and be understanding, I must listen, and really try to understand. I do expect all these things, so I will live as all these things. I will live as the person I expect of others. I will be the change that I wish to see.
Wow. There it is. Let's be the change that we wish to see in the world. And I hope that today we are more aligned and synchronized than we were in the beginning. Again, let's keep the ball rolling. Thank you so much to everybody for your time and your energy. And
thank you so much. I hope to connect again. You know where to find me.
Sure.
Wonderful to see you all.
Bye, everybody.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
David. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, David. Excellent work.
We'll
bye
be
for
in
now.
touch. Thank
bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.